Hello everyone and welcome to this lecture. In this lecture we are going to dive into the variable assignment in Python. Now we recently learned how to work with numbers, but what these numbers actually represent. We have encountered integers and floating point number, but we haven't assigned any value name to them. So let's explore how to assign variable name to this data, making it easier to reference them later in our code. For example, I could say my variable name is my dog is equal to 2 because I have 2 dogs. Now there are a few rules to keep in mind when choosing the variable name in Python. As the name cannot start with a number, there can be no space in the variable name. We should use underscore instead, and symbols like @ hash, $, etc. are not allowed in variable name. If you accidentally use one of those symbols, Python will complain and throw an error. So don't worry about memorizing this list, you will get the feedback right away. Additionally, it's generally considered best practice according to PEP 8 to keep variable name in lowercase. As you become a more advanced programmer, you may use uppercase or global variable name that are used throughout your code. But for now, let's stick to lowercase. You will also want to avoid using words that have a special meaning in Python, known as built-in keywords, like list or str for strings. You may be wondering how to know which words are built in keyword. Thankfully, most development environments will highlight this keyword in different colors, alerting you to avoid using them in a variable name. Before we jump into our Jupyter notebook, let's talk about dynamic typing in Python. This means we can reassign variables to different data types, giving Python great flexibility. For instance, as I can assign my dog to 2, and later on I can reassign it to a list dog name, like Sammy and Frankie. That's perfectly fine in Python. In contrast, in statically typed language like C++, you would have to declare the variable type when you first assign it, and you could not change it later without generating an error. There are pros and cons for dynamic typing. The advantage including saving time since you don't have to specify data type, making your code more readable. However, the flexibility can lead to a bug, especially when dealing with user inputs. So it's essential to be aware of the data type as you code. You can use the built-in type function to check the data type of any variable, which we'll demonstrate to you shortly. Alright, let's jump into our Jupyter notebook to explore those concepts in action. Okay, now that we have seen how to use number in Python as a calculator, let's create some variables. First, we'll create a variable name called a and we'll assign it to value 5. Then we run this, and now if I call a, I will be having the number 5 as a result. I can also, now whenever I reference a, it holds the value 5. If I want to change it, I can say simply a is equal to 10, for example. And now if I call the a, it's equal to 10. I can also perform arithmetic operation. For example, I could say a plus a, and then it gives me 20. Python also allows us to reassign a variable based on its current value. For instance, I can say a is equal to a plus a, and then if I call a, I will be having 20. And now notice if I run this cell again, which is number 13, and then I called a on the number 16, it will give us that the a number 40 as a result. And if I keep doing that, it will be always doubling each time that I'm running. And this is just on the IDE in Jupyter or the cell environment. Now, if I want to check the type of A, we can use the type keyword, which is the type of A, and it returns to us number integers. Now let's put all of these together with practical example. For example, you can say that my income let's say my income is equal to 100. My tax is equal to 0.1. So let's see how much taxes I owe, which would be my income multiplied by my tax. So my taxes will be 10. So using a variable name make our code much more readable. Instead of just numbers, I have a clear, almost English-like syntax that describe the calculation of my taxes, my income, and my tax rate. Today, we have learned how to work with numbers in Python, perform arithmetic, and wrap it up with the variable assignment. In our next lecture, we'll dive into strings. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next lecture.